Wish I could have been there, Kara. What was the big takeaway from what Sheryl Sandberg had to say? She's usually so poised and knows how to address these issues. Is this one that's getting away from her, or did she nail it down?
Well, I think she didn't address it fully, obviously. Nobody at Facebook has, and I think they're trying to figure out a way to message this correctly. All these issues around Russia, and not just that, but Russia, tech addiction, all these issues where Facebook is sort of is a target, essentially. And I thought she did a relatively good job. She did a better job, obviously, on Me Too and diversity. This is a crowd that was interested in these issues. I thought she was a lot looser than she usually is. You've seen her, John, interviewed a million times. I thought she was more forthright and more comfortable talking, which was, Sheryl can sometimes be a little bit opaque, but I think he or she did a good job, at least trying to answer the questions.
You know how these conferences go, the buzz in the hallways is one of the most interesting parts. What was the buzz about this year for you?
At this conference, this was a conference called Lesbians Who Tech. So, I think diversity and Me Too was a big topic here, and Sheryl talked a lot about this and quite forthrightly. I was interested, obviously, in talking about Russia a little bit at the beginning, which we did at the top. And so I think they really liked listening to her. I think they were expecting a different personality. She was obviously dressed more casually than she usually does, in jeans. And so I think she came because I think she wanted to be more out there on the issue. She hasn't been out there. I think Mark Zuckerberg has taken the lead here. Some other executives on Twitter have talked a lot. And so I think it was sort of one of the first times she's really talked about it at length, at least.
Tara, you think they're going to be able to get their arms around this issue about controlling who can actually post an ad or post in people's streams so that they know who it is?
Yeah, I think they have to. I think it's a critical part of their business. I mean, obviously, they're all facing regulation. Every day is a different thing. Either it's YouTube or on Twitter or on Facebook. And I think they really do have to figure it out. I mean, just the New York Times wrote today that the State Department hasn't spent a dime of the $120 million used to fight this. And so, who's going to have to fight it? Facebook, Google, YouTube, the big tech companies who are being used by the Russians to manipulate elections. And so I think it'll be an interesting time, but they certainly must focus people, technology, and really leadership on this issue because I think it's really tarnishing them, and I think they understand that very clearly now.
Yeah, Kara, you mentioned that Sheryl Sandberg didn't answer fully every kind of question you asked there, including about tech addiction, this other kind of emerging concern out there. That would seem to be one that people at Facebook in general would feel as if it's very tough to take on. It's the construction of the product itself, or the nature of the interaction with the product. So is that something that they are going to be able to leave aside for a while?
I don't know. I think they talk about it a lot. Mark talked about it a couple weeks ago, and Sheryl definitely talked about this idea of making Facebook a better place to use, where you're happier using it. I'm not certain, as I've said before, the solution for Facebook is more Facebook, but the solution for tech-addicted Facebook is better Facebook that you use, and it's more useful and it's more a utility. When Mark and I first met, that's the first thing he said to me, that Facebook was a utility. And I think if you think of it that way, it's like using any other thing that you might use. And so I think they definitely have to address the idea of addiction and the fact that their business model is very closely linked to close to having people use it more. And I've used the term slot machine of attention. They really do need to keep you there in order for their business to thrive. And so it makes it difficult, but they can make it a better experience, I think, for sure.
Kara, I thought Sheryl's answer on that was interesting in that she seemed to suggest that it was people's economic fears that were driving their concerns, fear of job dislocations, versus just the idea that some of us might feel like maybe this isn't good for us. What did you think of that response versus the idea that there might be something fundamentally wrong with spending that much time on a device?
Oh, I don't think that was that link, John. I'm not sure that's what she was talking about. She was talking about the generalized feeling in the country right now. We were talking about how, I think that was what she was talking about. I don't think she was linking it to tech addiction. She was just talking about the mood in the country right now. And we were talking about the idea that tech companies in general, when they're worried about AI and robotics and automation, that's what she was answering about. So.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up, Kara. Kara Swisher from Ricoh, thanks for joining us.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.